How's it going, everybody? So today I'm going to be working on something that I'm a little bit more excited about than most things. I like tools. I really like tools. And having good handles on tools kind of gets me excited. And I have an axe that needs a new handle. So I went to the local hardware store and irritated the guy working there that was giving me a hand, because I am very picky about my handles. And I found a good one. So I'm going to show you how to put that on. So what makes this handle really good, and I'm not entirely sure if this is going to show up on camera, but the grain goes straight front to back on this axe handle. And if you look really close, you can see that the grain is really straight along the full length of this handle. Top to bottom, front to back. That's the way you want the grain in any striking tool. Now if you're doing like a shaving tool, it doesn't matter as much, but axes, hammers, they all get a lot of force put onto them. So for that you want this particular grain pattern. It holds the force better. So for this, the handle does need some adjustment. It needs to be thinned down a smidge, and there's a flare right here that needs to be taken down. Now the proper way of doing this is very slowly with a rasp, but I've done it enough times with the sander that when I do it with the sander, it comes out pretty good. This is actually like the third thing that I've rehandled this week, but this is by far the best handle. And yeah, when I tell you that I irritated the guy that was helping me out, I'm not kidding. He was not very happy. So for this, the kerf going down, it's close. It only needs to go down maybe another inch to bring it down onto where the axe head should sit. So let's start off with that. And this is really awkward to do, so if it's jerking around, wrap your legs around the handle and do your best. So, kerf is right about where it needs to be. It doesn't need to be all the way onto the seat. The wedge isn't going to go down that far. But now that this is ready, I need the head. So this is a fairly old axe head. My grandpa gave it to me a few years back, and it's got a little bit of a beard to it. This is a felling axe head, and it's all shiny because it had some red paint that had chipped off and it wasn't looking good. So once it's handled, I'm going to, at some point, probably closer to spring, go through and put some masking tape here and paint the head. So this should be sitting about right there, give or take. That way you get the most strength out of the handle for your axe. So if you have a nice mirrored, like it's the same front to back, or top to bottom, sorry, axe head, like it doesn't have this more pronounced beard to it, the way you tell which side is top and bottom is you look at the eye. If it's a properly made axe head, the eye on the bottom is smaller than the eye on the top, which this one is. This one also has a little lip in there. I don't know if that's showing up, but there's a little lip in there so that when you drive the wedge in, it forces the wood onto the lip so the handle doesn't pull out. So this right now doesn't fit. It's close. Close is what you're going to get out of a store-bought axe handle. You can make your own. It's a pain in the butt. So with this, where it's at right now, the sides need to be taken down by a good bit, actually. Probably about 1/8 of an inch on each side. And it's got to be narrowed down clear to there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sander, sand this down, sand this a little bit front to back right there, so that this slides easily into the axe head. So this is what it looks like now. The axe head slides to about right there fairly easily. Very little effort. Kerf is about 1/2 inch from the bottom, which is fine. And this side looks a little bit better, but there's a nice hard lip right there where the axe head is going to end up sitting. So from here, you're going to start putting the axe head on. See, it gets to about there before it stops. And from here, you're going to need to do something that seems really counterintuitive. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. Right there, I sanded in an angle, because when you drive this into the axe head, the two sides are going to push together really hard. So sanding in an angle right there makes it so that the wedge that we're going to pound in later actually goes in. So from here, it doesn't want to go any further, but there's a trick. And the trick for this is holding the axe like this and pounding on the bottom. It forces the axe head up without banging it against anything. So it's already moved about 2 inches, and that's 3 whacks, 4 whacks. So that's what it looks like now. You see that there's this huge gap all the way around there and the sides, and that seems a little awkward. I need to take a knife and clip this off. That's where the axe had shaved the handle some. But this axe handle came with what I'm guessing to be a poplar wedge. When you're making your own handles, you're going to need to make one of these little wedges. It's just a little triangle of wood, about 3 inches tall. Now, I see a lot of people glue this. You can, if you want. You don't really have to, but it's something people do. But this one is about a 1/4 inch too long, and the axe head is sharp enough, so I can just go through and chop that little bit off. So for this, you butt this right there, and you start pounding it in. Now, that's not going anywhere, and it's pounded in really tight. It's actually so tight that right here it's pressing the metal into the wood, which is good. So from here I'm going to go through and cut it off, not all the way up flush against the metal, but close. And then I'm going to sand it down so it's nice and pretty. So I've got it cut, a little bit more than a 1/4 inch away from the top of the axe. Now I'm going to go through with the sander and bring it down to, a lot less. Somewhere between 1/16 and a 32nd. Just over the top. I'm going to go through and round over these edges so they don't fray any. So let's do that. So it's all sanded down. I need a new sanding belt, so it got a little burnt. So from here, it needs the last 2 wedges. I swore I put those in my pocket. So, as it stands right now, this axe head isn't going to go anywhere because this wedge is holding it in so tight that it won't move. But as the wood ages, it's going to change, it'll change shape. So this handle comes with little metal wedges. These get pounded in at different points, and this will force it front to back, not just side to side. This wooden wedge only does the side to side. The front to back also helps. And I was lucky because I bought a axe head with 2. 2 is better than 1. If you need more than 2, you probably did it wrong. So what you do is you hold this about 1/3 of the way from the back, and you start off with a couple of gentle taps, and then as it gets stuck in there a little bit, you go a little bit harder. It forced it forward just a little bit. Now the second one, it should force that gap almost completely shut. So with those 2 wedges in there, this axe head won't go anywhere. All I gotta do is sharpen it, paint it, and it'll be good to go for quite a few years, so long as you don't break the handle. But I know how to fix a handle, so that's not a huge deal. So, if you liked today's video or found it useful, if you could like, share, comment, subscribe, that'd be very helpful to the channel. And this axe is going to be very useful for me. Got a bunch of wood to split. That's right there. So, y'all have fun. Bye.